And we are back to continue with this day two of Agency Advantage and give it up for Carl and Robert for an amazing session. I think that was very insightful, very informative. I'm here to take you forward for day two. And with me today, I have Matthew Makai from DigitalOcean. He is Director Developer Relations, and he is going to be taking us through DigitalOcean's vision and how it's being reshaped through artificial intelligence. So Carl, Matthew, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your time, and I appreciate your presence. And the floor is yours. You can share your screen and start your presentation.
Sounds great. Hey folks, my name is Matt Makai. I have the privilege of serving as the VP of Developer Relations at DigitalOcean. I'm going to share just a few slides that'll walk us through the AI vision with DigitalOcean. And as soon as I can bring those up here, we'll kick things off. All right. Hide this little notification. So this is going to be essentially vision, plus I always like to have the practical side of things. And so a big piece of this is not just, hype around AI. It is really like, what are developers doing today? And then what are we enabling with use cases as DigitalOcean continues to build? So, just to start with the mission, and this is true from the founding of DigitalOcean, and it has so much impact on Cloudways as well, which is simplifying the cloud and now AI so that builders, software developers can spend just their time building software that is best for their customers, idealistically changes the world, but really just essentially thinking about it as getting out of the way and just making it possible to best serve your customers and those that are using your software. So, why DigitalOcean? Really, our approach here is to be simple and scalable and just in general approachable as a brand. And that's what you'll see from the customers that are built on DigitalOcean. And so, this has historically been true since we were founded in 2012. I actually was a customer long before I joined DigitalOcean, and these quotes really resonated with me as well as to why I had been a customer for so long. This just pops out a few of them. So let's talk about what DigitalOcean is doing as far as artificial intelligence. So we really started out with GPUs and bare metal. And what that means is you can just get access to GPUs, and it gives you the most control over typically, you're going to be running large language models or AI models on the GPUs. So there's just a tremendous amount of compute that is required. And this is kind of how companies have done things before there was abstraction layers on top of AI. You'd have to go get the GPUs. You have to configure clusters. Ideally, you're not buying all the GPUs, but instead you can lease them. You can get them from companies like DigitalOcean. So at least that was the first step to making AI easier, was you can just get access to this hardware. So think about the bare metal GPUs as that base step. And if you want the most control over your AI models and the way that you're running infrastructure, this is often how many companies will go. But there's so much more that can be built on top of that. And that's really where DigitalOcean has gone. So we have a tremendous business around just getting access to GPUs, but we're building so much more on top of it. And really, the first step on top of it was GPU droplets. Now, DigitalOcean has been known for a long time for CPU droplets. The idea is you have a virtual private server with an abstraction on top of it. You get a tremendous amount of bandwidth and storage and the compute, the CPUs with it. Just like we've been doing with CPUs for over a decade, we're doing with GPUs now. So the abstraction layer on top of the GPUs in the form of GPU droplets, and just being able to access these things on demand, all sorts of different types of GPUs, both from NVIDIA, AMD hardware. And so, that essentially is your first level of infrastructure that we already provide, and we've been providing for several years now. So think about this as this first layer. So if you look at the bottom layer here, if you want the most control over running your AI models, you have the most skills deployed in managing infrastructure or deploying your software on top of the infrastructure, that you're probably going to be running bare metal or GPU droplets. If you've been doing this for several years, you've got a lot of folks that are invested in this capacity. And also the one thing about GPU droplets is that a big abstraction layer on top is you can just do one-click deploy. You want to deploy that text-to-speech model or the speech-to-text model or a large language model, you can just do that with one-click deploy on GPU droplets. But we know that for many companies, that this is just not a viable model, right? You're not going to go hire an entire team of developers to write software just on top of the bare metal instances of GPUs. What you really want is you're saying, I've already got some infrastructure. I want to use that with some AI applications. And so that's where there's a couple other areas of the stack here. So what you're seeing is we're building on top of building abstraction layers on top of the bare metal hardware and the GPU hardware. So Docs there is a DigitalOcean's Kubernetes service. You can use Kubernetes with the GPUs. So you might have your existing hardware. You want to deploy that with LLMs or other AI models, and you can do that very easily by connecting your existing infrastructure, your more traditional software running on Kubernetes so that it's resilient and scalable, and you want to connect that with GPUs, make that very easy. And then on top of that is our Gen AI platform, where you can easily build with large language models, and you essentially just run these large language models on your own instances. Now, there's also access to, let's say you want to do an API call. So I'm a software developer. I want to just call these large language models, and I'll just pay for the tokens that go in and out of these models. And you can certainly do that as well. On top of that, what we're really increasingly seeing is agentic use cases. So the software around all of the things that are being built with large language models. So think about this as like where you are in your own business journey with AI. We can provide it at different layers of the stack. And if you're just starting now, there's a lot more software that's available for you to just work with on the top layer. You don't necessarily, like it was 5 years ago, where you have to go buy GPUs or lease GPUs in a data center and write all the custom software on top of that. That's just not really how you have to get started today. So we provide at that top layer serverless inference. What this means is you can just run AI models, and we essentially are already running them. You just call them with an API, and we have tools for building and running agents on top of DigitalOcean. So here's a little bit about what developers are building, and I think it's worth just looking into this in that we have the serverless inferencing, which I said is these AI models. So there's a ton that developers are doing today. This is not something, AI is not something that is just like in the far future. Text summarization, classification, a lot of data analysis around semi-structured or unstructured data. I personally have a side project where I have 100,000 blog posts from a bunch of different companies, and I do all sorts of data analysis on those blog posts with large language models. I ask them what phrases are trending over time, what topics are popping with developers. And so you can do all of that with large language models. You can ask 100, thousands of questions of large unstructured data sources in ways that you never could before the advent of really cheap and available large language models. So that's a lot of what's happening with and what you can do with serverless inference. You can also do all sorts of searching, sentiment analysis, those sorts of things. And certainly code generation is a big one. A lot of times you're using things like Claude Code. Google had their Gemini CLI that was released today. There's so much happening in just being able to write code with large language models, especially if you're an experienced software developer. And likewise, on the right side here is just the agent development, which is, again, a higher level of abstraction. And so the idea here is like you can just build these agents that will handle your internal use cases, internal knowledge management, or assistants that will be able to answer a lot of questions for your customers with very low effort or no effort, no human in the loop to be able to address those questions. These are the types of use cases that like people tried to build chatbots for 10, 15 years ago that just didn't work because there was no large language model foundation to answer ad hoc questions or to understand what a customer is asking and be able to get them the right answer out the other side. So that's a lot of the use cases that we're already seeing. And certainly, I think if you're not building these things already, don't feel like you're too far behind. Like so much of this has really rapidly evolved over 6 to 12 months. But I can say there are a lot of these applications already deployed at scale at many companies, and it will just become more and more prevalent over time because there's so much value in the things that are being built here. But look for the higher abstraction layers, whether you're building directly with DigitalOcean or you're working with Cloudways to build your AI use cases. One thing I'll just plug is like you can access all this on DigitalOcean today. Whether everything I talked about, you can get access to it today. So you can log into DigitalOcean, get use all of this stuff yourself. Especially if you're a software developer like I am, you can just go try it. So with that, I will turn it over to talk about Cloudways and view of AI.
Thank you, Matthew. I think that was very insightful. So, folks, if you have any questions from Matthew, please drop them in the chat, and Matthew will be here with us for the remainder of the session to answer those questions for you. Up next, now that we have learned on what DO is doing with regards to AI, we cannot forget what Cloudways itself is doing when it comes to AI. So for that, today I have with me Ali Ahmed Khan from Cloudways, who is the director engineering for director product management for Cloudways. Ali, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your time. Really appreciate your presence here. So Ali, I think people are waiting to know what Cloudways is doing when it comes to AI. What is CoPilot and how it is helping businesses around the world. So Ali, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Moiz, and hi everyone. Glad to have this opportunity to talk to you guys over here about Cloudways CoPilot. I'll quickly share my screen to walk you guys through some slides that I've prepared for this session. Let me just pull them up quickly. All right. So some of you may be aware, Cloudways CoPilot is a new AI assistant, or you can say SRE assistant for now, that we have recently introduced into the Cloudways platform. It's currently in public preview. And what it does basically, it proactively monitors, diagnoses, and helps you basically resolve server level issues at the moment. Now, I'm saying server level issues. This might seem limiting, but I'll in the slides, in the next slides, in the upcoming slides, I'll talk about what's coming up, what's coming soon. And there are a lot of exciting stuff that we're working on that I want to share with you guys. So you might think, okay, Cloudways CoPilot, an AI system, what is the benefit that it delivers to me, right, as a customer? So today, when, for example, a server goes down, one of your server goes down, you go in and you try to identify the root cause of the problem, right, in order to come up with the steps that you want to take yourself or other to your team members or through our support team. Now, this entire process itself is quite laborious and it takes a lot of time, right? So what Cloudways CoPilot is doing today for you is to eliminate all this wastage of time, and it quickly surfaces an insight for you which tells you the root cause behind the problem, why your server went down, what was the reason behind it, and it also tells you the recommended steps that you can take on your own to resolve the issue. Whenever any of your server goes down for any of these 4 reasons, web stack issues, either it's host issues, disk inode issues, or your disk space is full, these 4 issues, this is the current coverage of CoPilot, and we are increasing it with time. Whenever any of these issues happen on your servers, Cloudways CoPilot will kick in. It will go onto the server level. It will try to troubleshoot the issue, identify the root cause, and it will come up with the insight. Now let's quickly look at it inside the platform as well. I just wanted to quickly show you guys what it looks like actually. So I'll just switch my screen over to the platform, Cloudways platform, where we will quickly see it in action. All right. So this is the dashboard or the homepage of the Cloudways platform. And you guys can see here, the first fold is dedicated to Cloudways CoPilot. And it clearly tells you the types of disk issues. Normally, this count is too high. Normally, you won't have these many issues. But since this is a test account and we are testing it very rigorously, that's why the count is too high. But yes, here it shows you the types of issues that you have across the fleet of your servers. And let me quickly go in and show you one insight as an example. So you access the insights by clicking this button. Let me filter disk usage, and let's have a look at this insight. So this tells me that, okay, on this server, there's the disk space alert, probably because of which my server is down. And when I click into it, it basically tells me the investigation summary, where it has very clearly identified the root cause behind the reason. It tells me that, okay, there's a massive log file, uh, and the reason behind the log file being so big is that it's some sort of conflict with this theme. And it also tells me the remediation steps or the recommended steps that I can take on my own to resolve the issue. So it tells me, okay, address WordPress debugging and clear the log file. It tells me to fix the theme code errors. It even tells me the line number where the issue is, where I need to go and focus. And it also tells me to address Redis configuration issues. So this is what it looks like today. And you guys can have access to this on our platform as well, just by reaching out to one of our team members. Now I'll move back to the presentation. I'll move back to the slide.
While Ali is sharing his screen, I just want to mention that you can see the form in the chat. We have sort of pasted a form in the chat where you can drop your details so that we can get in touch with you if you're interested in CoPilot, if you're interested in the agency partnership program. You can fill out the form and our team will get in touch with you soon. Ali, yeah, you're on.
Thank you, Moise. All right, so let's quickly talk about what's coming soon in Copilot. And the first thing that I want to talk about is something that I really personally believe, will bring massive value to our customers, and it's the fix capability. So you saw the insight, right? The example that I showed to you, it was telling you to take some actions. And now, even after having that insight as a customer, you either would have to perform those actions on your own in order to resolve the issue, or you'll have to get in touch with our support team and they will perform those actions on your behalf to resolve the issue. Now, with fixed capability, under that insight, there'll be a call to action where you will just have to click that button and Cloudways CoPilot will resolve the issue for you within a minute or within a couple of minutes. Excuse me. So this is going to be massive, because what it does is it eliminates all the friction points and all the time that you invest today from the detection of an issue to resolution of an issue, and Cloudways Copilot will will take all that burden off your shoulders. Uh, in the slides, you can see some examples over here, like resolving disk space issues, slowing down the server applications. It can be fixing broken layers in WebStack. It can be deleting the log files. It can be resolving the plugin and theme conflicts. So this is what's coming up, and the timeline for this release is in next 2 to 3 weeks. We'll be releasing this in public preview. The next thing that I want to talk about is, I told you currently Cloudways Copilot works around 4 different types of server level issues. What we are now doing is we are increasing the server level issue coverage by including more issue types like backup issues and MySQL issues. But more importantly, we are also working to bring the application level issues into the coverage. By application level issues, what I mean is, for example, if your website has a 403 error or 503 error, or any sort of other error on your website, Cloudways Copilot will be able to generate the similar insight for your application level issues, and will also offer you the button, the fix button, using which you can resolve the issue in just a couple of minutes. So we are working on a few use cases that we want to cover, and the timeline for this increase in coverage, both server level and application level, is by end of Q4 2025. The next thing is automated task management. So today, a lot of our customers have to do a lot of laborious tasks on the platform, right? For example, if you want to purge cache for multiple applications at once, or you want to enable an add-on on multiple applications, or you want to take backups for your applications or your servers in a specific region or for a specific client, you have to go to each server's screen to perform that action one by one, right? With this capability, you will just command the Copilot and it will do that action for you in bulk. So an example would be, hey, Copilot, please purge cache for all my applications which are in, let's say, XYZ region, or which belong to XYZ client. And Cloudways Copilot, based on the go-ahead that you give him, it will just go and do that action for you. So this is going to be this is going to take a lot of time off your shoulders again, and you guys will be able, our agencies will be able to focus on the core thing, which is the growth of their businesses. And the timeline for this one is by end of 2025. The last one is a big one, AI powered website testing. And I personally believe this is a big pain point for a lot of customers, not only cloud-based customers, but across the hosting industry. And the idea here is, imagine you are pushing some sort of change to your production website, right? And currently you have to do the testing through your team members, or you do the testing on your own. Now, Cloudways CoPilot with this capability will ensure that the build or whatever change you are pushing to production, it does not break anything on production. Example, you have an e-commerce store and you basically are making some sort of change to the production environment, and Cloudways CoPilot will assess the change that you are pushing to production, and it will tell you beforehand that, okay, this change is going to cause this conflict. Do you want me to resolve this for you before you push the change to production? And the Copilot will basically resolve the issue for you. So the timeline for AI powered testing is it will be available in early access in early 2026. And now this is not where it will stop eventually. We have a very aggressive roadmap, and this is just a bit of it for Cloudways Copilot that we are working on. And I'm really hopeful that we are working towards a near future where Cloudways is basically world's first agentic hosting platform. That's all from my side. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Ali. That was great. So anyone in the chat who wants to ask any questions from Ali, I think I can see a few questions regarding Copilot, Ali. So you can hop in the chat and answer those. If anyone is interested in Copilot and the agency partnership program, all they have to do is fill out the form that is pinned on the chat, and once you do that, our team will try to get in touch with you as soon as possible. So go check out that form. Now, this is my favorite part. Now that we know what Cloudways is doing with regards to AI, now that we know what DigitalOcean is doing, we have a customer with us today who has been using Copilot for his business, who has been using the tool, the feature for his agency for quite a few months, and his name is Blake Whittle, and I would like to call him up on stage and ask him a few questions around how Copilot has been working for him, what benefits did the feature provide him for his business, and what is his overall feedback about the feature. So Blake, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your time. So if you can take us through the feature itself, like how has it been for you? How has Copilot sort of helped you elevate your business processes or anything else that you have been working on? And if you can take us through your general feedback about how the feature is.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. It's been great. Within our agency, we manage about 10 servers and about 200 applications, and all of our team members that I have on my agency are developers. They're not necessarily DevOps people, they're not necessarily server people, and so that's why we went with Cloudways in the first place. But there was still that occasional problem that popped up every now and then, that we would have to really spend some time looking into, seeing why the MySQL went down, and see what application is causing that, and so on and so forth. With Copilot, that's really eliminated that for us. So if the server crashes, it's typically because an application, meaning a WordPress website, has gone rogue, essentially. Some process have gotten stuck or something. And so now we log into Cloudways. We see there at the first fold of the web stack issue. And so we click into it. It tells us what specific application caused that problem. And it tells us what steps that we can take if we need to run some CLI commands. It tells us the exact values that we need to run and what the problem is. And so that's really cut down our investigation time and our resolution time. It used to take us an hour. Now it probably takes us 10 minutes tops to get our web stack back up and our server back up.
All right, awesome. So it saves you time, it saves you, I guess, money as well, and it's basically making your processes processes even better. Any suggestions that you would want to give to fellow agency owners that are here in the chat on how they should adapt AI, and if they should be looking for products like Copilot to make their processes even better and to make their workflows even smarter?
I think AI is the future, and I was super happy to see Cloudways come out with Copilot. When Chat GPT and all the AI first came out, I was kind of wondering how web hosts would implement this and make our lives as agency owners and web builders better. And we have some hosts out there that made their own web AI builder and whatnot, and Cloudways has done Copilot, and it's really been a game changer for us for really making our lives easier, saving us time, efficiency, and all that equals into money. So props to Cloudways for making my life better as an agency owner, and so that's why I've been a proud customer since 2016.
All right, that's super awesome to hear, Blake. Feedback like that from customers like you who have been using us and using the product and our features for so long. I want to thank you for your time and appreciate your efforts and your time for you and you being here for our event and making it even better and insightful for the rest of the attendees. So thank you so much, Blake. This is it for this session. Next up we have. Next up, we have the end of traditional outsourcing from Tom Wardman, and yeah, I think this is it from the Cloudways and DO's vision around AI. We will take a short break and then we will be back with the next session.